This is Iman. Her story begins in 1990 in a small, rural town in Egypt. Iman was born into a good, tight-knit family, decent people who raised their kids with strong values. And Iman was different. She was driven, brilliant, and had her eyes fixed on a single dream, her Ph.D. For her, the idea of marriage was on the back burner, something to think about after she had achieved her goal. Like any family, hers wanted to see her happily married, but they also respected her ambition. So Iman focused on her studies, and life went on until she turned 25. And that's when he appeared. Abdel Rahim. His name came through a friend. A self-made man, ambitious, originally from a traditional village in Upper Egypt, but he'd been living in Germany for 12 years. He had a German passport. He was a practical man, shaped, they said, by European society. Iman said no at first. She wasn't ready to get married, but her family and her friend pressured her. Just meet him. What's the harm? Maybe you'll change your mind. She agreed to the meeting. Abdel Rahim came to her family's home, and he laid out his case. I'm a hotel manager in Germany. It's not a huge hotel, but I'm the manager. And then the critical point. I am a very practical man. My vacation is 1 month. In that month, I want to get married, take my wife, and fly back. His words were convincing. A successful, no-nonsense man. Iman was honest with him. I like you, she said, but I am postponing marriage until I get my doctorate. And right there, the devil laid the perfect bait. Rahim smiled. And if we get married and go to Germany, you'll get your doctorate there. A Ph.D. from Germany is better than anywhere else, isn't it? The words were like magic. Her dream wouldn't have to die. It would get better. Iman's family was worried about the speed. A marriage in 1 month? But Abdel Rahim was a masterful actor. He made them feel he was the perfect choice. To put them at ease, he offered to take them to meet his own family in Upper Egypt. And they went. But the visit was unsettling. It was obvious his family was completely dependent on him. He was supporting almost all of them. Iman's family asked a logical question. If you're from here, why didn't you marry a girl from your own village? His answer was ready. The moment I saw Iman, I just knew. I don't want to marry from my village. She is the one I want to spend my life with. He promised them all that life in Germany would be a better life. And these good, trusting people, they believed him. They believed every word. They didn't know that almost everything he said was a lie. Abdel Rahim had other goals. He wasn't looking for a wife. He was looking for a profile. He was shopping for specific specifications. A kind family, people who wouldn't make waves. He had to suit them to get what he wanted. He had chosen perfectly. A week later, Iman's family agreed. And 1 month later to the day, Iman was married and on a plane flying toward the unknown. The moment Iman stepped into the home he'd told her about, the dream shattered. This was not the home of a hotel manager. This was a 1-bedroom efficiency apartment, a place barely big enough for a college student, let alone a permanent resident with a German passport. That was lie number 1. As the marriage began, she discovered lie number 2. The man was cheap, not frugal, terrifyingly cheap. And soon after, lie number 3 was confirmed. He wasn't a hotel manager. He was a chef in a clinic cafeteria. In the middle of this cascade of deception, Iman discovered she was pregnant. This was early 2016. She decided to stay silent. She couldn't bring herself to break her parents' hearts. They were so happy their daughter was living the good life in Germany. It was all a lie. Abdel Rahim had her completely isolated. She knew nothing about German society, nothing about German law. And when she asked about her Ph.D., her dream, she discovered the 4th and cruelest lie. He had no intention of ever helping her. He started talking about how she needed to stay home to take care of our coming son. Iman gave birth to their first child, and still she said nothing. She was raised with the belief that a family's secrets must stay inside the home. She hoped desperately that the baby would change him. What happened was the exact opposite. A short time later, he told her he wanted another child. He convinced her that having kids strengthens a relationship. Iman, in her kindness, believed him. He thought he loved her and wanted to be closer. She didn't understand that Abdel Rahim had other objectives she couldn't possibly know about thanks to her total ignorance of the law. She got pregnant, and their second child was born. And life was the same, constant fights, except now things had escalated into physical violence. And still, Iman was silent. She was terrified to take any legal action. Abdel Rahim had drilled a story into her head. If you ever report me for hitting you, German law will take our children from us until we sort it out. He knew her weakness. Her entire world was her children. But over time, Iman started to understand. She began to notice his stories didn't add up. When she asked him for more money for the house, he'd give her a strange speech. In German society, if you want money, you have to work. I'm spending what I have. Abdel Rahim used culture like a weapon, picking whatever suited him. When he wanted her to be submissive, he was the traditional man from Upper Egypt. When he wanted to deny her money, he was the modern, practical German. Iman was lost in the whiplash, until one day, scrolling on her phone, she saw a post. It was from a German citizen complaining to the government, demanding they increase the child support stipend. Iman felt a cold dread creep up her spine. She learned that the German government paid 285 euros per child every single month. She learned that by being married, his taxes were significantly lower, and suddenly everything became crystal clear. She understood why he was in such a hurry to marry. She understood why he was so desperate for a second child. This wasn't a marriage, it was a business. He wasn't building a family, he was building a financial model on her back. She waited for him to come home, and when she confronted him, he admitted it. He was, in fact, collecting that money every month and using it to run the house. He wasn't contributing a single cent of his own. He was living off the money meant for his children. In that moment, Abdel Rahim got scared. He was scared because she was starting to know too much. He demanded she give him his phone and never touch it again. Iman was now a liability. She demanded that she be the one to receive the children's money. Of course, it led to a massive fight, and he hit her.
But this Iman was not the same woman who got on the plane. She knew the law now. She knew her rights. She started talking to her sister. She told her everything: the lies, the abuse, the financial control. Her sister begged her, leave him, come back to Egypt. But Iman was paralyzed. Her children had German passports. He would never let them leave. She was terrified he would take them from her. When life at home became a living hell, Iman did the unthinkable. She went to a domestic violence organization, and with the backing of the law, she left the apartment and was moved with her children into a shelter. This is when Abdel Rahim panicked. He knew the law too, and he knew what this meant. The actor returned. He started to manipulate her. I'll change. We have to think of the kids. Just drop the case. Iman was still afraid of him, but she refused to change her testimony. We're now in 2022. After 6 years of hell, Iman finally filed for divorce. She told her family everything, but the devil remained the devil. He started working on her again. A divorce will destroy the kids. It will destroy our home. He knew Iman was kind. He knew she'd believe him, and he succeeded. Iman rescinded the divorce filing. She went back to the apartment, but this time she left the legal case open. She didn't trust him, not for a second. Less than a year later, he came to her with a new plan. We're going to Egypt for a vacation. We have a relative's wedding in my village, but don't tell your parents. We'll make it a surprise. A chill ran down Iman's spine. She told her sister she was going, but begged her not to tell her parents, and they flew to Egypt. The moment they landed, Iman's phone went dead. She vanished. Her family tried calling her for a week. The phone was off. They called Abdel Rahim, who, they discovered, was already back in Germany. They asked him where she was. His answer was a bomb. Iman never came with me from Germany. Her sister was frantic. How? I talked to her. She told me she was going. A week after she disappeared in Egypt, her sister's phone rang, a strange number. When she answered, it was Iman. But it wasn't Iman's voice. It was the voice of a hostage, tense, terrified, speaking in strained whispers, as if she was trying to get a message out without saying the words. Her sister understood. She was in Upper Egypt, in his village. Iman's family drove straight into the lion's den. They went to Abdel Rahim's family home, and there they were horrified. They found Iman and her children being held captive. Abdel Rahim's family was just as shocked. How did they know where to find her? Iman's family took their daughter and her children, and a massive confrontation erupted. When Abdel Rahim found out, he called them. His excuse? He was just disciplining her for the trouble she'd caused in Germany. He was afraid, he said, that the children would be harmed. This time, her family insisted this would be a divorce. But there was a bigger problem. The devil had been one step ahead. He had taken her passport and her phone back to Germany with him. He had engineered it so she was trapped, unable to return. He knew her kind, decent family wouldn't fight him. And just as they were trying to figure out the divorce, he started the cycle all over again. He started contacting her and her family. I'll change. I would never hurt the mother of my children. And tragically, they believed him. Iman believed him. But her real problem wasn't him. Her real problem was her paralyzing, all-consuming fear that she would be separated from her children. And so, after he promised he would change, Iman flew back to Germany. A lowlife will always be a lowlife, and everything that had come before was nothing compared to what was coming next.
Iman returned to Germany, but she kept her lifeline. The legal case remained open. She would go to the women's shelter any time a new problem started. A year passed. During that time, Abdel Rahim was waging a new war, a smear campaign. He was telling everyone she was having an affair. The depravity of his lies was boundless. And then, in early 2023, Iman became pregnant with their third child. This time, his vile accusation was aimed at her. That baby is not mine. A DNA test, of course, proved it was his, but the shock of the accusation, the sheer inability to comprehend the man she was tied to, it broke something in Iman. This time, it was final. She decided, the moment this baby was born, she was taking her children, going to Egypt, and ending this sickness for good. In late 2024, Iman gave birth to their third child. She began to get her affairs in order, preparing to leave. But just before she could, Abdel Rahim surprised her. My little brother Khalid is coming. He's going to live with us for a while. Iman was floored. Live with us where? In our one-bedroom apartment? How? A huge fight erupted. But Abdel Rahim insisted his brother was coming. He was clearly planning something. In early November 2024, Iman called her sister. The voice on the line was strange. It wasn't the Iman her sister knew. It was tense, afraid. Even the way she ended the call, it was just wrong. From that moment, Iman Hassan was gone. 4 days passed, no word. Her family was sick with worry. They called Abdel Rahim. His story was ready. I woke up and she was gone. She just left the house, abandoned her kids, and walked away. Her family knew it was a lie. Iman would do anything before she would abandon her children. They asked him, "Did you call the police?" "Yes," he said. "I filed a missing person report." A week passed, no news, and Abdel Rahim seemed completely unfazed. Her sister took to Facebook, pleading with the Egyptian community in Germany. People advised her to call the German police herself just to verify the report, and she did. Her blood ran cold. Abdel Rahim had never filed a report. She confronted him. He knew he was caught. Only then, more than 2 weeks after Iman had vanished, did he go to the police and file. And with shameless audacity, he began posting on social media that his wife had deserted him and her children, slandering her name. Iman's family accused him directly to the German police. He was, they said, behind her disappearance. The police brought him in. They questioned him, but there was no evidence. There was no body. There was nothing. They had to let him go. Abdel Rahim went back to his life. He went to work. He told people he was looking for a nanny for his kids, or maybe he'd go back to Egypt and remarry. It was as if Iman had never existed.
7 months passed. 7 months of agony. Iman's family was searching everywhere. It was as if the earth had swallowed her whole, until a moment of pure divine chance. A man is driving his car on a road that runs alongside a forest in Germany. On the side of the road, he spots a child's bicycle helmet and a small bike abandoned. The man grew worried. He thought a child might have wandered into the forest and gotten lost. He called the police. Police units, canine teams, and search and rescue all mobilized. They fanned out into the woods looking for a lost child. After a long search, there was no trace of a child. Suddenly, the canines stopped at a specific spot. They began to dig frantically. The officers moved in. They started to excavate the ground. They found a bedsheet stained with blood. When they pulled it from the earth, they found a body, almost completely decomposed. Wrapped inside the sheet with her was a galabeya, a traditional Egyptian robe, and a brown headscarf. The robe was torn in a way that suggested a violent struggle. The body was unrecognizable. Forensics determined it was a woman in her 30s. Cause of death, poison. And then the officers remembered. There was a missing person report, a 34-year-old woman who lived just 3 miles from this very spot. A DNA test was ordered. It was a match. It was Iman. At the same time, police descended on Abdel Rahim. The circumstantial case was now ironclad. He confessed. He and his brother, Khalid, they had done it together. The decision had been made the moment he told her Khalid was coming to stay. They put poison in her food. When she was dead, they wrapped her body in the bedsheet. They drove to the forest, dug a deep grave, and threw her in. They had decided they would never file a report, never ask about her. The topic would simply die, and no one would ever know what happened to Iman. But God exposed them. Iman's justice came because of a stranger's kindness and a lost child's bicycle. Iman endured so much for so long for her children, and just when she had finally decided to save herself, they took that chance away from her. Today, Iman's 3 children are still in Germany. Her family is fighting to bring them home to Egypt, and Abdel Rahim and his brother are in prison, awaiting their judgment. The truth finally has returned.